When I was a boy, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish ways. I'm on my grown man status. I'm on my grown man status. Living in the world of boys to men. Being high value, you lose some friends. Successful life requires rights. What up, everybody? You know what it do. It's your man, the Saint, a.k.a. R.O.M.A.N. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning into another episode of Man Status 101. Now, before we go any further, I'd like for you to hit that like button, please comment, and if you would, please subscribe to this channel. Now, lately, I've been getting hit up by a lot of people talking about, yo, Saint, man, I know you seen that Katt Williams on Shannon Sharpe. Why don't you tell us what you think about it? So I said, all right. So what I did was I went on to Shannon Sharpe, not just his podcast, but also the Willie D and the interviews they both did over Katt Williams. And what I decided to do was break things down, what he was talking about, because he's got some really good points. And another thing I noticed, not too many people have been responding to attack back. No one has tried to sue him. So let's just see what Katt Williams is talking about. I ain't gonna do too much. Let's go ahead and get into this stuff. Let's hit this Shannon Sharpe first.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today. Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love him. Some call him one of the greatest comedians, dead or alive. One of America's greatest entertainers, one of the funniest men on the planet, world-renowned, multi-talented, a comedy legend. He's the top touring comedian selling out arenas. He's a hilarious storyteller, Emmy award-winning actor, voice actor, rapper, writer, producer, director, icon, genius, a national treasure, philanthropist, humanitarian, social activist, a father, one of the great funny men of our generation and any generation, Mr. Katt Williams.
Thank you, sir.
How was that intro?
Magnificent. You are magnificent at intros, and you did not skimp on mine. I appreciate it.
Let's stop right there. That was excellent. Anytime you have a host and they come in, a great intro always goes a long way. Sets the tone of the the interview. All right, let's keep it going. Now, remember, everyone, I'm not playing this thing all the way through. I'm just getting through the main topics that he was talking about with different artists, different comedians, and different stories he has to tell. Because if I let this play all the way through, man, this whole thing, like I said before, it might take 2 or 3 hours to get through. So I'm actually just going to the main key elements of the interview where a lot of people want to hear, more stuff on. So let's get this going.
And I needed you to know why I came by.
Yeah, I need you to tell us why.
People know I don't go everywhere. I'm not interested in talking to people unless it's like a Larry King or somebody of an amazing ilk that I would actually want to go talk to in real life.
Okay.
I don't do it so I can sell product, and I got things to sell, so let me come talk. You have a great product here, and as a fan base, we love the attention that you spend on the guest. We love how much work you've done, how well you know them, how prepared you are. The same things that we liked about you in football. You brought that on over to here, and that's why it resonates. And the reason I had to come is because you made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
that. And I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike. And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now let's 3 quick points.
3 quick.
You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Well, I didn't know
He shouldn't be able, you wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man, you stole that. Oh, so he could get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
He couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he was...
Sir, no one, why no, he was with KD? He beat up Terry Crews? Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood, they switched off roles. You take this and he, what?
So
Ricky Smiley knows this, and I don't know why he would lose a child and come on the air and start lying. That's why people believe in rituals right there. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie, but I can tell you this. We auditioned in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days? The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy,
right,
where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped.
I found that very interesting. So I went out on the internet and I found a clip where Cube actually spoke on it because, you know, him being executive producer of the Fridays. Let's see what Cube had to say.
Katt was 100 on a few things. Most of what he was saying. A couple things, you know, I just want to clarify. When we bring in a new, you know, comedian, we do have them try out for different roles. So Ricky did give Money Mike a shot. But when we saw him and, you know, we kind of saw how he moved and how he was, you know, auditioning, we decided that he would be a better, you know, Santa Claus, which was, to me, the perfect casting. When we saw Mike, damn, I call him Money Mike. When we saw Katt, you know, when I saw him, I just knew that he was perfect for Money Mike. And, you know, Katt, you know, said he wrote his role, which, I mean, the role was written, but he enhanced it. This is why Katt was so dope in the movie. Second thing I want to clear up, it was never, I would never shoot a scene in a movie, especially like Friday,
R.A.P.E.
where you actually see this happening on camera. That ain't my style. If you check out any of my movies, they not raunchy. You know, we did a movie called Players Club where the subject matter was a little raunchy, but But for the most part, even that, we left it to your
Basically saying he left it to your imagination. So you see right there, I can't say everything was 100%. I do know that Cube just said that there was never an RAPE scene to take place in his particular part, and he said it was originally one in there. So we're gonna leave that to them. I wasn't there. I don't know what goes on, but let's get back to some more stuff. You know, like I said, the interview is very interesting, but I just kind of want to break things down where you can see why I do a little research and seeing how this goes. Let's go to the next thing.
So that's why, because when we released that clip and he said that, you responded because he said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
That he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke?
Yeah.
He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the King's.
See, I'm going to stop it right there. What he was talking about, I believe it was like 1998, and when the Kings of Comedy came around 2000, I believe Katt Williams did the joke like a little bit, a few years earlier than said. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the segments of where Katt did his first, and then you'll see said, and you can decide if he did bite it, because it seemed like he did substitute it with a spaceship instead of a car. But let's go ahead and get into it.
You had your car radio up so loud that you couldn't hear the damn thing when it cut off.
Katt Williams. He was known as Katt.
It looked like this. You flossing in
This
a
joke
stick,
here
just
was done
converted.
on a comic view back in like 1998. Okay.
All right, now once again, here goes Cedric the Entertainer doing his joke from Kings of Comedy.
They gonna move to the moon. Ain't gonna happen. Y'all move to the moon, damn it, we coming to the moon. Oh, we'll be right behind y'all in space shuttles with Cadillac grills. Nigga just rolling, one headlight out. Tags be all wrong. All bass. Y'all know we'll drive a space shuttle too. That's right up our damn alley. A space shuttle is long. They ain't scared no black folk. We'll drive a space shuttle. We grew up driving long cars. We'll drive a space shuttle like it's a 72 deuce and a quarter. We get us a cigarette. We be in a space shuttle like it's a 72.
Now, the reason you'll hear the sound is muted is because Sid actually did this to an old school R&B group called One Way. And the title of the song was Cutie Pie. You know, it went like Cutie Pie. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I don't want to say the words because I don't hit no copyright infringements. But as you can see, both comedians did the joke. I think Katt Williams did his like 2 years before Sid did his. And one was about a car, one was about a spaceship. And it seems like maybe Sid had switched it from a car to a spaceship, whatever it is. I don't know, but I'll let you make your decision. But Katt does kind of have a point there. It seems like, you know, some of the material was taken from him, from Sid. But you be the judge of that. So we'll just go on to the next segment and see what's going on.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal.
I'm going to stop it right there. Now, who he's talking about is a comedian back in the 90s by the name of Mark Curry. This is a picture of Mark right here. He had his own show. It was titled Hanging with Mr. Cooper. It was real funny. He was doing pretty good back in the 90s, and it actually came out before the Steve Harvey show, which he played either a music teacher or a principal or something. I don't remember, but Mark was out before Steve, especially with his own TV sitcom and whatnot. But apparently, Katt Williams goes on. He talks about how Steve stole Mark's material, and Mark's pretty bitter about it too. So I'm gonna show you some videos of Mark doing the joke first, and then Steve doing it, and then I'll show you an interview where Mark gave his peace of mind on him feeling like Steve that stole his material. Let's go ahead and get into that as well.
Halloween was a trip. Halloween, we couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. Hey, kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us. We didn't know what we were. I don't know what we are. I don't know. She didn't tell us. I think we UPS, I guess. I don't know.
You've heard me say that every Halloween I had the same outfit on. Every year. I just had a brown box. No, it wasn't nothing sad. I asked my father, could I have a new outfit? And he said, no, just wear the same one. It was just a brown box. And he just told me to tell everybody I was a UPS man.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about
never said thank you.
So what's up with you and Steve, man?
Ain't nothing with me. Well, Steve stole my material on his show, so I had a beef on that.
On what show?
When he was on the bullshit talk show he had, and he did all my Halloween material one Halloween. I'm watching, somebody called me and said, man, homeboy doing your material. So he did my whole Halloween run. And I know he didn't think of it. You know, this is true stuff that really happened to me. And so my thing is, you don't have to do that, homeboy. Right. So, you know, motherfucker, you made enough money, bitch ass. You know, wow. You made enough money, you did enough. You know, why are you on my material?
I'm gonna stop right there. Wow, you know what I'm saying? I can see why he's bitter, because he said this really happened to him. But, you know, comedians, they really do get upset when people steal their material, especially when they the ones wrote it. And like they say, first come, first serve. But it's very interesting how this sounds. I don't know how Steve could possibly say that he didn't take that from him, but I'll let you be the judge. Don't want to put too much of my input in. But let's just go on to the next one, okay?
The truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
Let me stop right there. Now, for you all out there that don't know what Tubi is, Tubi's a lot like Netflix, but it's more African-American black films that's being played on this platform. Or I ain't gonna say platform, but there's a streaming device. Now, this streaming app plays a lot of low budget, well, I don't want to necessarily say low budget, but I would say class B type films. You ever watch a film on Netflix and you be like, man, it's going to be good. But then when you look at the film, you look at the quality, you're like, man, that looked like it was filmed with a camcorder. Well, a lot of black films on Tubi's, you know, it's like that. And what Katt is saying is that Cedric's material is so bad, they won't even play it on Tubi, which is the low budget type, you know, black film, you know, streaming device. But let's just go on for those that didn't know what Tubi was.
You don't think Ced's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
It seems to me, Katt, that you had a lot to get off your chest.
No.
You wanted to set the record straight.
Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. I don't say any of these things if my name is not breached by these people on your platform. If you give a liar a platform to lie, then I'm not being messy by saying, hold on, that never happened, it's untrue, and there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing.
I'm gonna stop right there. Basically, what he's saying is that if you have a platform and somebody's a compulsive liar, they get on there. Once they get that lie out real quick, most people are quick to believe a lie first because that was the first time they heard that particular subject. So a liar, when he puts a lie out, a lot of times you can come with the truth and a lot of people won't believe it. You got to come with a lot of good facts or something that leads to them facts. So let's get back to Katt again.
So let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't three random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's not.
Okay, what comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just caught a stray.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0. So why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Oh, man, come on.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that.
I'm gonna stop right there. I didn't actually go in and look at the wives of all these particular comedians and actors, you know, set forth the ones he's talking about. I didn't want to put their wives on display, but all over the internet, I did see people putting the pictures of a lot of these comedians and actors, set forth people he's talking about, and all their wives were light-skinned. You know, a lot of that, what he was saying was true on that. Ain't got nothing against light-skinned women. I mean, I love us all. If you're black, you're black. When you're dark, light, red bone, caramel, albino, you're black, you're black. That's all there is to it. You know, I'm so sick and tired of this team light skin, team dark skin crap. But one thing he is saying is truthful is a lot of these comedians, their girlfriends and wives are kind of looking like that. I ain't saying that's the reason why they got it, but a lot of people are posting those wives all over the internet. You can look it up for yourself. So you do kind of see quite a bit of what he's saying on that part. But let me just let this go. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be
Stopping right there. He's just saying all lies are being exposed. And you're starting to see people from religion, CEO executives from music, executives responsible for getting people in movies. A lot of things is being exposed, and I'm a biblical man. I am a man of God. I'm not perfect, so don't base Christianity off of me, because like the Bible says, we all do fall short of the glory at times. But I am seeing a lot of stuff come out, and in the Bible it does say a lot of things will be exposed in the last days. So he's coming hard, and like I said before, I ain't seen nobody say he lying. And I ain't seen nobody try to sue because they're being slandered on their names. Only thing I've seen so far is Cube saying that rape scene wasn't originally in the script. But let's get back to some more of this stuff.
The truth is the light.
I didn't have nothing on one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
oh, because,
I was gonna ask you that.
Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike, because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told him to go get the Prowler. I then told him to paint it purple. I told him don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that
but
no
I didn't
one's
know it
ever
was a
heard.
lie.
Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally, when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows or have ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are like, this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
I'm gonna stop it right there. He had a lot of good facts. Well, I'm not gonna say facts, but a lot of good points of what he was saying. So many times there are a lot of plants. Like you got some of these female rappers out here, I ain't gonna drop no names, and they really want the urban community to really go down with blacks, you know, putting all this sexual immorality stuff out there, you know, just a bunch of garbage. Just come out of nowhere. Rolling Stone gives one of them the song of the year. Of all the songs that come out, you make that song the song of the year. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'll back up anything I say. You know, a plant to put stuff out there to destroy your youth and your culture. I understand what he's saying about a plant with Kevin. I'm not saying Kevin was a plant. I wasn't there whenever he got hired or whatever his, you know, intro into the comedy field took place or whatnot, but I do get it. I do understand what it's like to be blackballed too when you're a threat or a competition to others. But Katt done fought his way out real good. And he done put a lot of great stuff out, and he's popped a lot of great information out to make you go out and look for his sources. And people are finding them. I'm not siding with either one. I'm just saying these are the things that I found when I went out there looking to find what I could to back up what Katt was saying. All right. Right now, I'm about to flip it over, and everybody's talking about material being stolen and everything. Why don't we get into Bernie Mac? Let's see what he says about having new material and saying it in front of your competition. Let's check out Bernie, the late Bernie Mac.
Being with me all the time, you know, she's seen my stuff, my new stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Especially when I do my single dates, and I'm trying to school her. You don't do your material around a lot of comedians. That's like stealing in front of the police. You don't get it. They mean well, but they sit on the side. Ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or something. You be sitting at home. That shit mine, you know? But ain't nobody gonna believe you. First come, first serve. You know? So when you do new stuff, you never, I'm telling you, for you comics coming up, never bring your stuff out in front of a house full of comedians. You will never work a lot. Especially established comedians like myself, you'll never work a lot. I got too much pride. I can't take something that ain't mine. You know what I mean? I can't go up and say something ain't mine. The kick about going up there is making people laugh about
something. Right there. He's right. Even as a music artist, it was time I was doing music back in the day, my early stages, letting people hear my stuff, sending stuff out, finding out there was other artists using my own material. That's when I had to learn about copywriting. I started with the poor man's copyright, which I mailed it back to myself, which hold that up in law because you got the dates on both, you know, from the to and the from going back to the same. But it's a lot of stuff later on in the future. I'm going to teach you about the music industry as well. And a lot of it works hand in hand, whether it's comedy or music, but Bernie's absolutely right. Never speak your new material in front of somebody because that's how thieves start stealing. Some of them be bold enough to take it after you done already put it out too, because they figure their name is bigger. So rest in peace, the Honorable Bernie Mac. All right, everyone. Now we're going to go into the Willie D interview, which he had with Katt Williams as well. I want you to notice the difference between the introductions between Willie D and what Shannon Sharpe do. And kind of go in them comments and tell me what you think about this one as well. All right, let's step in this one.
Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Katt Williams. What's up, King?
Thank you. How are you, sir?
Oh, man, one more hop, I'll be on top. How
Prepare
about you?
for your hop. Doing great. Doing great.
Yeah, you're doing great, man. Cleveland, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio.
When you, I mean, see, my bad. You were born in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And then you were raised in Dayton.
And raised in Dayton, correct. Man.
Check that out. He already got the wrong city which he was raised in and which one he was born in. You got to do your little research a little first, so you know you don't have to be corrected on the intro. But let's just keep checking this out.
You know, we had a show in Dayton once, and it almost like provoked a full-blown riot. You know, in Dayton, they had these cops with these big old 10-gallon hats.
They did.
Big old white cornbread-fed dudes, and they were telling us, y'all gonna either pay for all of this equipment that y'all destroyed on the stage. We destroyed, allegedly, equipment, band equipment that belonged to After 7 and Troop.
Oh my!
We were on the same ticket as After 7 and Troop. We destroyed their equipment.
Allegedly.
Let me just stop right there. You off to a bad start, Willie D. For those out there that don't know who Willie D is, he was one of the third members of the Ghetto Boys, which had Scarface, Bushwick Bill, and himself, Willie D. If you're not familiar with the name, they had a song called "My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me," which was a big hit back in the day. And the thing I understand is you're interviewing Katt over whatever it is you're trying to get the information out for your interview, but you're talking about yourself. Then you go into a story where you had to correct yourself, saying something about you destroyed some equipment and then said alleged. Then later on said you did do it, and he had to catch you and say allegedly. But let's just keep it rolling. Tell me what you think in the comments, though. Check it out.
And they told us, y'all gonna pay for this stuff or y'all going to jail. And so we basically just did the show for free because we gave all that money back. But Dayton that's will forever be like embedded in my memory, Dayton, Ohio, for that reason. But
I'm sorry that you had a bad memory.
But what are some good memories that you have from Dayton?
Part of what you remember is a part of Dayton. So Dayton was one of the rare cities in America that was legitimately half black and half white. So there was power on both ends. I came from a very powerful family in Dayton just because of our sheer numbers. So there were 13 on my father's side and 7 on my mother's side. So I had like 100 first cousins in one city. Like, we just had a large family, and it was a great place for black people, and it was a great place for white people. It's just that you really couldn't be legitimately racist because your neighbors were of another color.
I'm going to stop right there. I really like where Katt was going with that, because a lot of times when you're black and you're doing interviews, people want to assume that, you had to be all black, and if whites was around, they was doing whites wrong. No. A lot of times when you grow up either in a mixed community, whether it's poverty or middle class, upper middle class, whatever, people are people. The only thing that separates us is the ignorance of saying, hey, I look different than you. I mean, you can get a race of people and they're from the same city. And because you was on the south side or you was from the north side, they're going to battle. You know what I'm saying? anytime they can find something to be different, people will be ignorant about. And I like how Katt was saying, you can't say that, something was from one particular race because we all grew up together. We're not letting race divide us up. We all grew. They looked out for us. We looked out for them. We were all a product of each other. So I like where Katt was going with that. Keep it rolling, Katt.
That makes sense. So,
What's the power dynamic? Was it mostly white people running it or black people?
well, that's the dynamic of America at that particular time. One of my uncles was the chief of police. Another was the head pastor in town, and had some cocaine dealing uncles as well. So we were really rooted in the city, but it was a city of money. So we had Cooper tires, we had Dayton tires, we had IBM, we had NCR, we had Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, we had University of Dayton. These are all places where you can make six figures even at that time. So it was a lot of money there. As far as on the radio, we would hear every hour 5 or 6 artists that were from where we were from. So we thought that was a part of it. We hearing the Ohio Players, and Roger Troutman in Zapp's studio is our bus stop when we're 7 years old. Like,
let me stop right there. Now, I don't know if you're paying attention what Katt is saying. He's saying in that community, that city was supporting the state of Ohio. You see what I'm saying? One problem with a lot of cities is they don't support their own local entertainment, their local artists. And the reason a lot of those artists do well, especially artists in Atlanta, is because the hometown radio stations play a lot of stuff that's from that area. If you start supporting and putting your own artists on, those artists can take off. And what he's basically saying, I don't want to get too far off track, is in my community, we supported our own. And that's what it was really happening, and so many great things going on, because once a community sees people who made it that look like them, it drives them to work harder, because they say, if they can make it out of here, I can make it as well. I like where you're going, Katt. Keep it going.
So I met Prince while I was in Dayton when I'm 12. Like, it was a very vibrant community for black people.
So you saw a lot of the street stuff. How did you end up? First of all, did you end up doing any of the street stuff, participating in any of that street activity? You mentioned your uncles selling drugs and all of that.
Well, I leave Dayton, Ohio, right before I'm 13. So I'm still at a young age. I'm just having heightened experiences because of my childhood and my background. So, I've always had money, but I don't come from money. So I was able to cut grass in the summer, and I was able to shovel snow in the winter. That's what I was allowed to do. So, but consequently, even as a kid, I'm making like $6,000-$7,000 a year. And this is...
At 12 years old?
Before that, at 10. At 10. Just because that's what I was allowed to do. And I'm a hustler by nature. Like, if I get a hold of a lick, I want to see how many times it flips, not if it flips, you know what I mean? So once I'm gone from there, I'm trying my hand at other things, door to door, and I had already made $1 million before I was 18, doing door to door across the country. So I had already tested out what were the positive things about me and how I could use that to my advantage economically from an early age.
Is it true that you emancipated yourself from your parents at 13? Because I read that somewhere.
Well,
I think it was Wikipedia said something like that.
I wouldn't shame the family. What I would say is that it can't be called run away because I didn't run away. I left, but I don't tell that part of the story just because there's a zero chance that if a young person listens to me and follows my example on that they'll be okay. But I knew I would be, but I was a little off. Like, I knew Jesus left home at 13, so I didn't feel like I was out of pocket in any way.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that at 13 years old, you was cognizant of the story of Jesus leaving home at 13 years old?
I had been accepted to college before I was 12, so I was already a little bit more advanced than your average child. I had probably read 10,000 books at that period in my life. So I was blessed in that way. But as you know, you can't really just live on that. So God navigated where I was able to see the underworld, if you will. So I go from my parents' house in Ohio to Miami, Florida by myself. I don't know nobody. And that's where the story begins. But
in your formidable years, who is that person? Was there a single individual who inspired you, or some guy or a person that you looked up to and you said, I like the way that they move and I want to model myself after that person?
Yeah, this is going to be a weird answer. Yes, that's one of the things that I was probably the best at. I did it with anybody and everybody. So when I was going to the library, I wasn't reading fiction books. I was reading nonfiction books, and it didn't matter what it was. I know whatever's in this book, I don't know what it is. So I might have read like 1,000 autobiographies, just the life of people that I don't know. And when you do that, you find out that if you were trying to learn something from everybody, you could actually learn something from every single person that you met. And so it's that type of thinking that helped me avoid the pitfalls as I saw them. So the reason I never did drugs when I was an adult is because when I left and went to Miami and I'm living in a park, it's 30 people out there from all different places, and they all are homeless and in a terrible situation just like me. And they telling me that they used to be lawyers and doctors and nurses, and I'm going, well, what happened? And all of them is telling this story where everything in their life was fine, and then they dealt with this drug, and this is where it ended up.
I'll stop right there. That's the one thing that I really like that he took in mind. He said all these people who lost their lives at a great place, the one thing they had in common was drugs. I mean, when I was a kid, I was watching a Sinbad special. He was doing a comedy. And he said to each of you out there, if you think about taking drugs, this is one thing I want you to think about. Think about every person who's ever taken drugs and ask yourself, did this drug make their lives better or worse? Have you ever seen one person in the history of taking drugs that drugs made their lives better? Every single one is a no. And I'm glad Katt shared that right there, because I've done the same when I was young. I worked at a homeless shelter years ago. And the one thing that I found in common with a lot of homeless people was a lot of them tried drugs. When they turned and had a depression, they turned to drugs. And drugs brought them down. And you can gain a lot of wisdom from a lot of different people. The one thing I want you to take in mind stay away from drugs. Let's go to the next one.
Farrakhan is a polarizing individual. A lot of people really, I do believe, don't really understand him. I think that there are people who gets the message. This is what frightens them, is because they know, as you alluded to, they know what he's capable of doing. You know, uniting black people and guiding and leading black people in the right way.
There's not been a successful one of those yet. So just like if you're a rapper, any rapper can get hit. Yeah, we don't have we can go through 300 years of history and look for all the black people that fit the description you just said. They never make it.
Yeah, which is why I believe that they should stop trying to make it. I really do believe that, you know, it's each one reach one, teach one, but the leadership is in yourself. Like, all of us are capable, well, not all of us, but many of us are capable of being a leader. Like, instead of sitting around just waiting on one person to be that leader, you know, how about...
Well said. Well said. But in real time, being the leader of yourself gets you nothing. The people demand to be led regardless. There's not 13 shepherds and all these sheep. Why? Because it's unnecessary. Just one. Just one that has the connection with the sheep, which allows the sheep who has a brain about that small to be able to just focus on eating grass and not worry about falling off a cliff. We have the desire as humans to be led. We want to be led into battle. We want to be led into the football game. This is all because this is how we are wired. The cheerleaders and the pomp and circumstance, that goes back to the times of first humanity, because we do need that.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a myriad of leaders. You're not just talking about a single individual.
Right.
And I see a lot of people just be sitting back waiting on a messiah. They're waiting on that one person.
But they are too, though.
Who's that?
The other side is far more diligent about looking for that messiah than we are, because they know where to look. You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
The answer is the liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is. But with that nigga nose, it can only be niggas. Why would somebody vandalize a whole face and only vandalize one part? Nobody wanted to knock an eye off or take an ear off, or no chins missing. No, just the nose. Because it's a brand. It's a brand. All right, go ahead.
You have an uncanny way of thinking outside of the box, and you are very good at breaking things down like you just did. You understand consequences and repercussions very well.
Okay.
So my question to you is, why are you such a habitual line stepper? Why do you...
Let me stop right there. Now, an habitual line stepper is someone who knows they're pushing a button and they don't care what the consequences are. He's basically saying, you're like an agitator. You know, you just keep pushing buttons. You just go all the way. You go for the full juggler and you don't care what the consequences are. So if you ever want to know what that word means, obituary line stepper, that's someone who just keeps pushing it as far as they can, and they don't care what the consequences occurs. All right, let's get back to it.
Cross that line so often when you know what the repercussions and consequences are going to be, and they're not going to be favorable to you. For example,
Right.
I saw where you and Suge got arrested, right? You and Suge got arrested. Is that true?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Like, and
What were we doing?
allegedly it had something to do with like some type of photography, camera or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm just sure. I'm just saying this is what I read.
I'll tell you the story,
Yeah,
and
okay.
you tell
Tell me
me.
the story.
Then does that change how you frame this?
Okay.
I like the way Katt said that. I'm going to tell you the way it goes, and then you can decide on the way it comes out, if this is what you thought it was or whatnot. Meaning, you've probably read something, and you're going to take them for what their word is. And really, when I ask you what I got arrested for, you really got a little tongue-tied. You really didn't even know what it was about. You just saw the article about me and Suge got arrested about a picture or something. But now I'm going to tell you what really happened. And after you hear what really happens, let's see what you got to say about that. That was smooth, Katt. I like that. Here we go.
So, we have a meeting with a hologram company, which is going to go into a licensing deal on some holograms. This is in Beverly Hills. So now there's a rodeo, and behind that is an alleyway where you park your vehicles. Mm-hmm. That's where we are. Suge has brought his son with him, who's 5 years old. And before we go into this meeting, Suge's son runs behind the dumpster and urinates. And a lady films his penis out, peeing behind the dumpster. And then says, "Oh, I thought that was Katt's kid." So yeah, that's what happened.
See, man, this is
so
why,
understand, we were facing 20 years, Suge and I. 20 years for that. And if it wasn't for the fact that this is Beverly Hills and it's all on camera, they had no problem sending us up the river when we couldn't have possibly done what was being said. That lady said that she got jumped on by me.
So you see what you just did? You just clarified a huge, misconception about, the events of that evening or whatever.
Yeah, but remember, it went to court. Yeah. Like, this isn't just my word. They had to play the video in court, which showed that her altercation wasn't with a man at all.
But the trip part about it is that when people print it, when the media, mainstream media put it out there, they don't add that piece. They just say,
nor do they make a retraction.
Right.
Nor do they say, "Hey, that thing we told you about that guy, turns out it was nothing." Understand, I got 15 cases that were dismissed. That should be talked about. Why would 15 cases be dismissed? Because you were so sure you had what you were looking at.
I'm going to stop right there. That's so deep. And the reason I put that whole segment in there, because there was a lot of truth that went up in there. I like the part of how he told the story of how the lady took a picture of Suge Knight's son's private part and gonna sit up and say, "Oh, I thought it was Katt Williams' son." What difference would it have made? You just created child pornography. You took pictures of a child that was underage, his private part. You sat here and lied. The case got thrown out. Why isn't the law never attacks the people who bring these false allegations against you? I'm a firm believer in this. With so many people lying, there's a lot of women who try to get a bag out of a man saying that they allegedly raped them. And once that man fights as hard as he can and they find out this man is innocent, his life is still over. The damage has been done. Well, I heard he did this. I heard he did that. that poor man's life is damaged. I feel like this. If you can sit up here and allegedly lie on a person for something like that, then the consequences need to be, since you lied, the 5 or 10 years that man was facing, that woman needs to get that time, because if her lie went through, he'd be serving 10 years for something he didn't do. So I feel like maybe a lot of these people will quit lying on men if they are proven to be wrong, and the same punishment that that lie was going to put on that man, it goes on that woman. Maybe a lot of these lies get thrown out. That's one scary part about being a man that a woman doesn't have to face. You can sit up here and lie on a man, and when you're proven wrong and nothing happens, they need to do something about that. You need to get some legislators out here and fight for men on that part. What Katt is talking about, that's serious. 15 cases and he beat them all. When you had all this stuff saying he allegedly did this, and this, how come that news couldn't go back in his favor when they found out the allegedness was incorrect? I don't want to get too emotional, nothing like that, but I'm just saying that's something a lot of men fear about when you have to go to court over something like that. All right, let's go on to the next one, okay? Okay, on this interview, I believe this is where he starts to lose Katt a little bit. Tell me what you think.
Let's start at the beginning of the Reliant thing.
I don't know if I want to.
I'm gonna
Go
start,
ahead.
and then you can do it.
Let's stop right there. And he had to light a cigarette. You don't want to make your guests feel uncomfortable. At this point, he's telling you he don't feel like it. But you're going to do it. It's your show. Hey, I'm getting paid. I'll just go with it. F it. That's pretty much what Katt's saying on this. Tell me what you think when you saw that in the comments as well.
When you're tapping these emotions, before you deliver the joke, are you cognizant of what it's going to take to, like, deliver that joke? Like, are you already knowing that, I know for a fact, I don't have to practice this. They're going to be with this right here. When I say this, oh, I'm going to get them.
As a comedian, I have the best fan base in the world.
I'm going to stop right there. I mean, what kind of question is that? It seems like you're running out of questions and you're trying to freestyle for some space. I mean, to ask that particular question, that's anyone. If I'm going to tell a joke, I got certain jokes I know that's going to hit people, and I got some that I'm going to feel. That's just anybody. And Katt is like, I'm not even trying to answer this. I'm just going to answer it like this. I have the greatest fans in the world. I mean, come on, maybe he wasn't really prepared. This is no knock on Willie D, but that particular question, it seemed like it's kind of getting under his skin a little bit. He just says, hey, I got the best fans in the world. We're going to leave that at that.
How in the hell do comedians get away with that anyway? Because I'm not going to see the same comedian tell the same jokes, 100 times in a row.
You let a rapper rap the same songs, though. And you let a singer sing the same songs, the classics, and you'll allow that. And so
yeah, but funny is supposed to be spontaneous. So that's the difference.
Well, understand that comedy has its roots long before social media. So before social media, you might have heard that this comedian is funny, right? And somebody might have told you what he said, but it didn't sound that funny to you. They just told you what he said. But when you see him in person, oh, he's hilarious. And so comedy always had a cycle where you showed the whole circuit your body of work. It's just comedians had gotten so lazy that they were doing one great set that they had on Comic View or Def Jam, and they were touring that for 15 years without changing it. And so we made it a part of our effort to push the fact that you should be writing new material and shaming the community into it by just, I'm going to keep putting out these specials and this new material. How long are you going to continue to tell these jokes? Because in a minute, the audience is going to be like, no, they got to say something new. And eventually the audience did do that. And
Well, some audiences show up and they want you to say the old joke. They demand that you tell the old joke.
I don't have not one of those people in my fan base because they know better. They know that I would never let you pay me so you can hear some shit out. They know that.
You know, I'm peeping out what he's saying. Now, Willie said he ain't trying to hear nobody say the same joke, this, you know. He was riding it. And it's like he was thinking, you know, Katt was going to be like, yeah, you know, I ain't trying to hear that either. But Katt flipped it back. Well, you know, you go see an R&B singer sing somebody else's songs. You hear a rapper rap somebody else's lyrics. What's the difference? And then after he goes into his, you know, pitch about how that works, then Willie comes back, well, there are some people that come and they do want to see those particular jokes said. And it's kind of like, which one is it, you know? But I'm not trying to, you know, get down on Willie, but when I was watching this interview, it's kind of like he's a little back and forth, you know what I'm saying? But let's get to this next part. This one was pretty interesting. Check this out, y'all.
What's one of the wildest things that has happened to you or you've seen happen in your time in this entertainment space?
Yeah, sorry, Vlad. I ain't seen nothing. I collect the footage, but I haven't seen anything.
I'm going to stop it right there. Man, I find that hilarious. He just called Willie D Vlad. And in case y'all don't know, if a lot of y'all don't know who Vlad is, Vlad has his own podcast. It's called Vlad TV. And he's really known for interviewing a lot of rappers, a lot of gangster rappers, street gang members, actors, celebrities. But he's always interviewing these black people. And he's always questioning them stuff that might get them criminally indicted in court or something. Some of these guys will sit up here and say, I don't want to talk about it because, you know, this is an ongoing investigation. But he always has some type of way to talk to you nice and smooth, get you to relax, to get you to talk. And then it's right there on video. It's put out there in the world. And all the police have to do is just go right there on YouTube, look at what you said, and you've just admitted to something you didn't want to admit to. You know, like they say, you get locked up, don't say nothing, wait till your lawyer. Well, Vlad has a way of doing this. And there's been a lot of guys who've got arrested after going on his show, answering little sneaky questions. But don't take it from me. I'm going to actually play a video clip of one of Vlad's interviews with an individual. And he's going to call him out on this stuff. And you're going to slowly hear Vlad admitting to some of the stuff that he does. Check this out right here. Check it out.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
No, I didn't get anybody indicted.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
I didn't get a single person indicted. Who did I get indicted? Who did I get indicted?
I ain't about to open another indictment on who you indicted.
My name is on no paperwork. Nobody got indicted.
Realistically, it's like it's a such thing as bait. Like it's a such thing as bait. You're a baiter. You feel me? Like you're a baiter. So you not. Of course, you wouldn't take the bait for. You wouldn't say I got anybody indicted, but you fish. No. You feel me? You fish, and some of, you know what I mean, some of my peers and some of, you know what I mean, some of the people that sat in this seat aren't, I wouldn't say smart enough, but you feel me, aren't fast enough, you know what I mean, aren't witty enough or aren't intelligent enough to know when it's bait being swung their way or when they're supposed to dip the bait, you know what I mean, type shit. So hell yeah, nah. You're definitely, you know when they say unknown CI, like it's you didn't do it, but hell yeah. I
mean, I don't work with the police. I don't cooperate.
No, of course not.
I don't take the stand. I don't. If police ever try to seize any sort of footage, I would deny it. I would fight it.
You don't got to. It goes straight to go straight to YouTube.
Yeah. Whatever. You're you know, right now you're wearing a microphone under your shirt. There's another microphone pointing at you and two cameras pointing at you.
That was up to me. Yeah. No.
Whatever you say is totally up to you.
No, but
and when you say no comment, I go on to the next question.
That I fully agree with you, but see, that's what I said.
But when you said I get people indicted, I don't get anybody indicted. I don't get nobody in that. I'm just going. I'm going to put my foot down on that one.
Nah, listen. I respect it. I respect it. You feel me? Like I respect you. And I'm not saying that like you don't sign nobody paperwork. You don't. You understand what I'm saying? But from a consumer standpoint, from somebody that's in the street, you know what I mean? Like, you know, in a certain world, and you know, and you sit back and you watch somebody, you know what I mean? Like you're a trickster. You know what I mean? Like you could like.
You think I trick people?
A person that isn't fast enough to keep up with what's going on, a person that can't speak, you know what I mean, that everybody doesn't speak well, everybody doesn't, when the light's on, you know what I mean, everybody isn't, you know what I mean, so granted, a motherfucker sit here on their own.
Well,
a person could get tangled up in the Vlad TV interview.
Well, I'll put it like this. Some people that have interviewed with me have gotten arrested after the fact. But it was never because my interview came out and suddenly they get arrested. They get arrested for whatever illegal activities they end up doing.
And then they just end up on Vlad and then just...
No. And then, you know, the police are going to look at the whole thing. They're going to look at everything they put on Instagram. They're going to look at all the interviews they do. They're going to look at everything as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? They don't just look at Vlad TV. Yeah. They'll look at everything.
I'm going to stop it right there. They're going to look at everything. It's going to be posted on YouTube. So everybody can see, even if you slip, you can't pull it back because it's already up there. Just listen to what he said. You make your own opinion. I'm not going to say he's this or that, allegedly. I'm just going to say, watch where you do your interviews at. And it was just really funny that Katt called Willie D Vlad. All right, check. All right, y'all, man, we about to wrap this up. All right, I really want you to hear this ending. What Katt says, it's smooth. It's kind of like a thank you as well as no thank you. But check out the ending of this interview between Katt and Willie D. Check this out.
But man, we appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I appreciate you having me. You're an icon and a legend yourself, and just the fact that you would spend time interviewing others is magnificent, and nobody asks worse questions. You have the worst questions in all of interviewing, and you can count on it. Nobody's going to mimic your questions. So yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Katt Williams.
I'm going to stop right there. What can you say? Woo! That was a lot to take in, wasn't it? Well, I'm glad you guys hung in there long enough because I know I put quite a bit, but I really wanted you to hear as much as you could because I couldn't just do the entire segments of both of them. We'd probably be here for about 3 or 4 hours. But anyway, I want you to go in the comment sections. I want you to write in there what you got out of both of these interviews and just tell the world what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Like I said, God woke you up. The rest is up to you. Look forward to hearing from you guys in the next episodes. All right. 1.